for this hour. We thank you for this opportunity. Praise your name because your name is worthy to be praised. We ask you to bless us now as you make decisions for this county, this city, this state, and this country. Help us not, Father. We ask you blessings. Father, you ask forgiveness for our sins and you forgive those who trespassed against us, and we thank you now. Father, this is about your business, county business, not our business, not personally, but we do what is best for all our citizens. This we ask and bless you now. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, before we start our meeting, there's a few housekeeping tips. Conference line has been set up. The number is 1917-900-1022. Access code is 32347. This is not a toll-free number, and you may be subject to the long distance charges according to your long distance plan. When the chairperson opens the meeting for public comments, please follow the below instructions. Please, if you wish to speak, please dial 5. The moderator will unmute your line when it's your turn to speak and notify you by announcing the last 4 digits of your telephone number. Please announce your name and address. You will be allowed to speak for 3 minutes. And each commenter may be allowed 1 time to speak each item. With that being said, we move to our agenda, and I reckon the first thing on it is the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Motion second. All in favor saying aye? Aye. Okay. We go to item number 4. Board to consider execution of certificates of non-Avalon assessment to approve the 2022 assessment roll for Warrior Creek subdivision, Ocean Pond subdivision, Dealwood at the Beaches subdivision, Strickland Landing subdivision, Oak Ridge Estate, Unit 1 subdivision, the Bowden subdivision, the Steenhatchee Acres subdivision, Gulf Coast Estate subdivision, and Scallop Bay subdivision, and to approve of 2022 solid waste assessment rights. You are here. What do I hear?
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
It says at the end of this, and to approve the 2022 solid waste assessment roll, but then of course 5B, is that saying the same thing also? Or is that not the same?
Wonder.
Yeah, it's not.
It's different?
Well, I don't know, I know what we're talking about here is the, that the MSBU rate. But I guess it's also, maybe it's also the solid waste assessment rate, which is the same as what we do for everybody else. I don't know if
So
that's
that would be the solid waste for everybody or just roll?
just for this, it'd be just for these roles, for these.
Basically, subdivisions.
So what this roll does is it tells you who all the people are that have property in that. So all those people would be assessed the solid waste amount as well as this, as well as the MSBU amount.
So I guess, why would it be separate from everybody else's?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, I guess I'm a little confused about that.
Okay, let me, I'll read you one of the certificates and maybe that'll explain. So this is the one for, let's see, let's read the one for, also I see, so there is a separate one So there's a separate, okay, I'm sorry, I was confused. So we have a certified assessment enrolled for all of those subdivisions, and we also have one for the solid waste. So the solid waste is a separate one. So this is the role for everyone in the county for solid waste. So this is the assessment role. So these are the people that would be assessed.
Number 4
It's
is for
included
everybody in the county.
that, and then there's also, they're all lumped in together, so there's also certificates for these subdivisions too. So there's one certificate for each subdivision, and there's a certificate for solid waste, which is the entire county. Because there's a solid waste role, like who's on the roll, who gets assessed for the solid waste assessment.
Okay.
So it's changes, but this is the one that's certified by the tax collector. Which I think, he's the one that provided these certifications to me.
Yes.
Question that probably is 4 and 5B, are they the same? Is that what you're kind
So,
That was my question.
The role is the list of the people who were assessed. And then the resolution is the resolution to set the rate.
see, because we don't have, in B, we don't have the solid waste assessment rate, but we already did a resolution to that. Because we haven't done the solid waste assessment role yet. So what we'll need is we need a motion to accept these certificates.
That's on number 4 now. Yeah.
Right, on number 4, to accept the roles. And the chair assign those assessment roles.
Okay. Any more discussion? Listen. If anyone is not clear, let's try to work it out and see.
Mr. Clerk, so just to be clear, on your assessment role, you don't have the rate. It's only the list of who will be assessed, correct?
Right.
Okay, and then the rates are set by resolution.
I mean, these actually have the rates on them too, because some people have multiple parcels. So that role actually does have the rate, but the rate is actually adopted in a separate resolution.
A separate resolution.
This isn't the resolution, this is the actual, adopting of the role itself, which is who this will be charged. And so, like on the assessment one, on the solid waste assessment one, he doesn't have the entire role here, but he's got a summary because the entire role is really big. So he has a summary of, like how many dwellings, and then how many park models, RVs. And so he's got it listed out in a summary on those. And he's got, on this one, he's got 9,713 dwellings that would be assessed the solid waste assessment.
And this is only to accept these roles for the subdivision.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve these roles.
Motion second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
No.
Okay.
That is the same amount as everybody else.
This is just the roles at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So you've already set the amount, you already did that.
Okay. Now, you get that motion second?
Yes, sir. And we got 4 to 1 on the vote. 4 to 1 on the vote.
Yes.
Okay.
The board to hold a second and final public hearing on the millage and budget for fiscal year 2022, 2023, set for this date at 5:01 p.m.
So Danielle, I have the little, her little slide that she does, and then you can open it up to public comment if you have anything after she does.
Danielle?
So it's, short, so the first section is the gross taxable values. For the year 2022, there was a gross taxable value increase in the general fund of 7.08%, and in the MSTU fund, there was a gross taxable value increase of 6.67%. And then down to the millage, the board voted to adopt the proposed millage rate as tentative at last week's meeting, which is the same millage rate as the current year in the general fund and also in the MSTU fund. The millage rate is 7.2426 mills for the general fund and 1.2250 mills for the MSTU fund, for a total of 8.4676 mills. The rollback rate is the millage rate that would generate the same amount of ad valorem tax revenue as the prior year based on the current year gross taxable values. As a result of the increase in gross taxable values for 2022, the rollback rate would represent a millage rate decrease. If the board would have chosen to go with the rollback rate, we would experience a revenue decrease because the values increased. And the aggregate millage rate is 8.2671. The aggregate millage rate is higher than the aggregate rollback rate by 5.79%, which is something I have to tell you by Department of Revenue. And then the bottom, the total budget for the 22-23 fiscal year is at $73,803,339.
Okay. That's your spiel?
That's it.
Okay. So, our total, if we go with the rollback rate, would be 6.8495. We propose to go with the,
7.2426.
do we need to take each one of these separately or both of them?
You,
All together?
to begin with, you vote on the millage for the general fund, and then you have to vote on the millage for the MSTU. And then Gary has the amounts for the resolutions on the MSBU's, and then we vote on the budget amount last.
Okay.
We had the public hearing first.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, this is a public hearing. If anyone wants to speak for or against? Come on.
Hi,
What's your name?
Tony Evans,
Okay,
Mount Walker Road, Gary, Florida.
okay.
The trash,
This is not trash today.
this is not the
This
trash.
is gonna be the next one.
Thank you, ma'am. Still a public hearing. Seeing no one from the public?
Mr. Chairperson, we have someone on the line.
Okay. Who is it? What number?
Michael Pageant, 7613.
7613.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
On today's budget, are y'all talking about the Huntington and the chemicals as well? The assessments for the upcoming budget year?
We're talking about the total budget. The uncamp's probably in it too. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, Mr. Patrick.
We're saying you're gonna go ahead and, they're putting, I guess I read it right in the newspaper, y'all go ahead and, include the Huntington and camper, it's a $210 assessment for the landfills.
210, I don't think that's right.
178.
178.
And that's for this year?
Yes. Again, in the new budget year.
178 from how much?
140 for the residential and $40, I reckon, for
4667.
46.
67.
Okay. 46,
And
67.
how much? What's that?
Beg pardon?
What's that? And already Southwest, that's 177.
Everyone's
Yes.
at 178.
Yeah.
And that accounts. The rest of our description of it, last time I was there, and it is considered non-residential. Are you gonna assess it as not as residential?
Probably so. But I don't know. Every household or everyone that takes garbage, or we get garbage from, we're gonna assess them that.
Hunting County, how many Hunting County do you have versus RVs? Is that a game?
Anyone know?
Did you?
All of them be the same.
You wanna know how many? I don't know how many it is. That is probably varies from day to day or week to
Yes,
week.
it does.
Yeah.
All right, there's a bunch more camper trailers than there are camps. There's very few of them camp left, and then one of them will come. I don't see where you put it in when it's only there to use for 2 months out of the year.
Okay,
Not when it's non-residential.
okay.
All right, I think, under the description of camp or the definition, where it tells you it's temporary human habitation, non-residential use. You have to yourself there for a second, by calling us residential when it specifically says non-residential.
Uh-huh.
Does everybody understand that?
I hear what you're saying. Our attorney's not here to find it for us.
Right, well, you need to get with him, and I'll get back with you.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Pettit. Okay. Anyone else?
So just to be clear, 'cause I know Ms. Evans asked to speak, you've already adopted the solid waste rate. You've done that before. You're not doing that tonight. Already been done. All we're doing tonight is the millage rates, the budget, the total budget and the MSBU's.
Okay.
So, you still may want to let her speak on it, but.
She can speak on it if she wants to.
Right, so-
Come on.
I think people were confused from last week about what was gonna occur tonight in terms of having the final public hearing. I think a lot of people thought that last week was number one public hearing for the solid waste, and tonight would be the second, the same with the budget and the millage rate.
Yeah.
I think there was some confusion there, obviously.
Okay. Go ahead.
My issue is, Tony Evans, South Hall Road. My issue is not that the increase is happening. My issue is I have an RV. And I was wanting to put it on my 3 acres next to my house, hook up power, not live in it. So my AC and my trailer won't run, because I've already had one do it because of it. But yet, I'm gonna be assessed a garbage fee for a place that I'm not even living in. It says any residential, which is an electrical, I would run a separate power pole to that. But my RV would be sitting out in the middle of my field. So would I be charged the $178?
Yes, from what I understand.
Well, who does know? You say from what you understand, who knows for sure?
Yeah, if
if
that
I would
power
be
pole is
charged.
hooked up, I think it's got an address. Does it?
It has a name. So for something to sit in the middle of the field, I'm gonna be charged $178.
Yes, ma'am. That's the way it's set up.
Why? Who came up with that idea? That for someone that's not living in, I'm not talking about people living in on behind somebody else's house or anything like that. I'm talking about somebody that is strictly has it, so our campers don't burn from sitting out there with no AC, don't even have water. All you gotta have is AC, the power to it.
I tell you, it wasn't me.
Well, did we have some that had the same scenario?
So if
that
they
was
have,
able to get an exemption on one based on, I guess this scenario, no one really, but there's no way to tell whether anyone's really living in that RV or not.
Yeah, y'all ride up and down the roads every day. Look out there and see if you see cars up there beside it all the time.
if there's an active power pole, then folks are assessed. So the only, and I can help you, I can get an answer to your question. But I think if folks have their RV parked at their home for their own personal use, and it's not connected to active power pole, there's no power pole there
Yeah, but we
for
have to
it.
have power to it to keep it from,
Right.
and you know, the dehumidifiers going, the AC going. I mean, you have to have that if you own an RV. Does anybody here own an RV by chance that they know? Okay. You have to have those things to keep it from your refrigerator messing up, from the humidity and mold growing in it. You have to have that going on. You don't have to live in it, you don't have to have water hooked up to it, but you have to have power. I mean, so is there any way that y'all can put in an exemption for people that has it sitting out there that is not living in it?
The only reason you couldn't do that is because you'd have a lot of people would come up here and say, well, I just got it parked out there in the field. Nobody could, you know, check it, see if people could move in it that night, stay there from then on. Nobody would know, because we don't go around and check see if somebody's living there or not. We have to have a rule. It has to be cut and dried. If it's got power hooked to it, it's got to be charged the same. It all, you know, even before we went up on the rate, it was still charged the same. If it was hooked up to a power pole, it was $46. Now, it's $178, and people would take advantage of it. We would have no way of policing it. You understand?
But I also look at it from my point of view.
I understand your point, I feel for you about it, but there's no way to police the thing, to check and see if you got somebody living there or not. We got camper trailers all in this county, thousands of them, and there's people living in some of them just stay there part-time, but, just like hunting camps, there's 4 months of general gun season, there's a month of bow season, you know?
They're there half the year.
And that's 5 months. And then you add, you know, they stay only 5 months there, if they stay there through all the hunting seasons. But then they just happen to go back down there and fish out of there too, you know, and that kind of thing. So, but there's no way to police it. We'd have to charge them the full amount. I mean, that's just the way it is.
So everybody voted to pass it with no exemptions except for you.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll make sure.
Second. Okay. Any more discussion? Come on.
I'm Jesse James Messick, I live up in Shady Brook. I just wanted to say that there's a couple of questions I have for the commission. First of all, why couldn't this issue that we're hearing over and over again, and has been dragging on for decades, about solid waste, why couldn't that not be supplemented with a sales tax increase? I would like to see a sales tax that covers all of that, eliminate all these arguments. You know, if you come here and you spend money in Taylor County and you pay a tax and you're able to dispose of your trash, we don't want to see people coming here and throwing stuff inside of our woods and all that stuff to dispose of trash. We want it to be in a roll-off sites and stuff. And in fact, if we were to do something like that and look more further into the curbside pickup in certain areas of the county, like maybe Steen Ashland, we could also reduce some of the roll-off sites. In fact, I would propose that we put maybe a selected roll-off sites for bulk trash where it scales, just like many counties do. You scale them and weigh them in, and you weigh them out, and they pay for whatever is disposed of according to the roll-off site fees that would cover the landfill. That's one question I have for you, why that couldn't be done and how that would be so beneficial across the board. That would eliminate all these arguments. You wouldn't have to have no more cars, you wouldn't have to have any more of this deciding who's going to pay what, you know, if you got a camper or not, or whether or not you have a house. All this can be just totally eliminated with one simple, fair tax on consumer tax.
The sales tax, right?
A sales tax increase, that's right. Adequate to cover, and in place of all this other stuff. You remove the fees off the landowners in Taylor County and you put it on the sales tax. That would be my recommendation. Secondly, I had a question about how I didn't have a chance to go over the whole budget and look at everything, but I did happen to notice that it looked like a drastic decrease in the sports complex budget, and I didn't understand how that works. I've heard complaints about the sports complex not being maintained well, And, it looks like we're reducing the funding for the sports complex and not doing the job. And the taxpayers put a lot of money into that complex in order to build it. I think we need to make sure we take care of it. And, so that's the only two things I want to bring to you tonight and discuss with you all real quick. I hope that, we can find a way to eliminate some of these problems for you.
I think we're gonna have another budget, hearing on this solid waste, October 5th, October 6th, or something like that.
Well, there's a conflict with one commissioner. We had tentatively set it for October 5th, for not a public hearing, but a workshop.
We're gonna visit this again. We'll look at it. I can't promise you anything. Now, this has been going on for, I don't know how long we've had it. Landfill,
I've heard squabbling about landfills ever since I've lived here, 26 years.
but not only this place, every county in the state of Florida got the same.
Well, there's struggles,
They got problems.
no doubt about it.
Leon County got it, yes, ma'am?
Let's find solutions.
Yeah.
Let's find solutions. Let's get to the point where we can eliminate some of these problems. Not just keep jacking up pricing to certain individuals and then saying, well, we're going to pull these people in that are here, 2, 3 months out of the year and make them pay you as much as everybody else. And let's just not do all that continually. Let's go ahead and find a way to solution this out of there and make it a problem that disappears. That's my request.
Good.
Mr. Chairperson, just to clarify, the sports complex operational budget actually increased $43,000.
It did?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
well, maybe I misread it.
You may have been looking at a different line item, maybe like for a grant or something like that.
I'm not sure. I was looking at something in the paper. I think it ran in the paper budget. It looked like there was $100,000 reduction in the budget for the sports complex. There's no reduction there?
Yes, sir.
Not in the total budget.
Not in the total budget, it's a 25% increase for operations.
Okay. Well, we should probably spend some of that money.
We plan to.
Appreciate it, ma'am. Yes, sir. All right. Anyone else want to talk about it? You get it out on the board, whatever you can get out. All right, we got the public.
She had a question, I think, something.
Well, so you're not gonna vote on the $178, we're gonna try and do something a little bit different? Okay, if I bring you something a little bit different and it can help out, piggybacking off of what Mr. Jones?
Yes, Jeff.
Jones said, would you take into consideration in looking at it?
Now, we're gonna have a workshop sometime later this year,
But your rates are already set in place
right now.
for the following calendar year. And I think the workshops and what they're referring to is to look at fixing the issue.
Fixing the issues and that maybe it can, even if we can suck it up and do it this year and pay it, that maybe next year we could do something different?
We always listen to what people come up here and say, okay? You're welcome to come and say anything you want to say. We value your opinion. And then collectively, this board makes decisions of what we think is the best, okay? So in terms of a sales tax, that's been brought up before, and I'm not interested in entertaining that because our sales tax is already earmarked for some very, very important things. Okay, it has a really good use. And anywhere you go, you have to pay your way, okay? I would love to not be able to pay assessment. I have 5 properties that I pay, that will be paying $178 annually on each one. I'd love to get off scot-free and not have to pay.
In doing like a scale thing,
But,
because I know that works for other counties.
but if anybody's got a magic solution, we're really ready to hear it.
I'm bringing that magic.
The next meeting, what you're talking about is with, any ideas that you have, you're welcome to bring them.
Absolutely.
That'll be some of the discussions that we would be talking, and probably would be some scale talk and things of that, so just bring any ideas you have, we definitely listen.
Anyway, I hope you don't think your time is wasted. Believe it or not, you take it seriously. Okay? All right.
Mr. Paget's back on the phone again.
Mr. Patrick, what's his number?
7613.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
this is Michael Patty again.
yes, sir.
Did I understand that you were having another public hearing on solid waste figure?
We're gonna have a workshop, not another public hearing.
All right, well, Mike, I want to make a correction on the rules or the months that Jim was talking about a while ago. September, yes, is archery season. Then you have a few weeks that goes into motor loading for a couple weeks, and then you wait for a while before you go to October or November where Jim Glenn starts. You got November, December, it cuts off in January. And that's where most people in their camp.
Okay.
So that's, this is looking at what you're assessing there as a full year. Well, like the lady was saying one ago, nobody don't even live there. And you still charge $178. That's not right. But I would like to see if there's another, open meeting on it, I'd like to be public, right?
It will
It'll be
be,
announced.
it'll be public. And it'll be announced.
And what, right?
It will be public
All right,
and it will be announced.
All right, looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else on the, okay, we'll bring the public hearing to a close. First one we vote on is the general fund.
Yes, sir.
Yep, the 7.2426 meals.
Okay, do I hear a motion if we vote on the 7.2426 million?
I make a motion to approve 7.2426
I'll
general
second.
fund.
Motion second, all in favor of saying aye? Aye,
No,
okay.
And then we need one for the 1.2250 meals in the,
MSTU. All right, for the 1.2250 MSTU mill, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve 1.2250 MSTU fund.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor of saying aye? Aye,
no,
okay, good. All right,
and
what else do we
then,
need for that?
so then, yeah, we're moving on to,
Number 5, 8, adopt the final millage rate, we just done that.
we just did that, so we
Okay, we'll go to B, adopt the final assessment resolution for Warrior Creek subdivision, Deerwood at the beaches.
Yes, sir, and I'll give you the rates of those. Want me to read them?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna adopt, the final assessment resolution, so now you're actually adopting the rate for these, MSPU assessment rates for Warrior Creek subdivision, Deerwood at the Beaches subdivision, and Ocean Pond subdivision will all be at $35 per lot per year. Strickland's Landing subdivision will be $50 per lot per year. Oak Ridge Estates Unit 1 subdivision will be at $45 per lot per year. Bowden subdivision at $83.94 per lot per year,
$83 and what?
94 cent. All right. Steenhatchee Acre subdivision will be at $207.81 per lot per year.
$207 and how many cents?
81 cents.
81, all right.
Scallop Bay subdivision will be at $313.19.
$19.
$313.19 per lot per year. And Gulf Coast Estate subdivision will be at $320.70 per lot per year.
Okay.
And that's what we need a motion and a second and a vote for.
Okay,
and this has nothing to do with solid waste.
And it has nothing to do with solid waste. This is the MSBU, the services they get for MSBU.
all right. Any discussion? Do I have a motion? Did we accept this,
Motion to accept.
those rates?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor of saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is that it?
Now we gotta do the final budget, so that's C, I believe.
Number C,
Yeah.
the final budget
Yes.
for fiscal year 2022, 2023.
And that's in the amount of $73,803,339.
All right. You heard that number. That's a large number. It's a big number. We're doing big things in Taylor County. Do I hear a motion that we accept that number?
So adopt the final budget.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, saying aye? Aye.
No,
Okay. What else you need? Is that it?
So, yeah, that's it, but everybody needs to stay because everybody has to sign those, MSU assessments. So, everyone sign those, so everybody has to stay and sign those.
Okay. Now, when you sign it, that mean you heard it or you rejected or what?
So those are, for, let me find those. You all approved those, so those were the, assessments, so everybody voted for that, so everybody signed it. Was adopted and approved, and it's got yea or nay, you can put yea or nay, whichever one gave it. But in the vote, I had that one at 5-0 on the assessments. And MSBU assessments.
I see, motion to adjourn.
motion.
Okay. Do I need to carry that motion? Motion. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Well, we got a sheet, we all sign the same sheet.
So we can spread them out, but everybody's got to sign here. Or else we'll do them all at once.
That's Brown.
It'll be quicker if we just, everybody gets a couple.
Where are you going? Oh.
I need to, good, I need to check one over here.
Supposed to land at like 7:50 p.m.
Here we go. No, we got a bunch, I'm just spreading out. But you guys sign here and.
You're kidding.
This is what I was looking at.
Yeah, because it's first, and see, it's click on ours, so the operational budget increase.
I saw a sports complex went from that to that. You got all that down. Okay.
I'll grab it.
It's not a big deal, I was speaking to